This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. Yep, had to do the robot in honor of Stacy being here tonight. Haven't seen her in a long time. Hope everything's going well over there. Yep, that's right. The Robot 9000. Yep. Man. Another one of those crazy days out there. I remember reading in the Wikipedia article yesterday how in 1985 there was a confession by Rees, the serial killer, Melvin Rees. And then I thought, well, let me go look that up. So I looked it up. I found in the paper where it was, because they said it was a journalist. So I found the article, and I think it gives way more details. So I'm going to go over those two articles as sort of a supplemental to that. Yeah, and then there's another case from 1954 in Maryland that I'm going to do. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I don't know what it is. I love those old ones though, because the newspapers are so much better. That one's unsolved, but that might be tomorrow. And then probably on the, let's see. Well, I don't know. Maybe tomorrow I'll get started on the Martin family in Oregon, because it's kind of coming up on the anniversary from, what is it? 70 years ago, something like that. 60 years ago. 62, I think. 59, December, yeah, so that makes sense. 62 years ago. Alright. But before that, there's some stuff going on in the more recent times here. So have you guys heard of the student at the University of New Hampshire was at a party, apparently got in a fight somewhere, and at a fraternity, like he was out drinking, then he decided he was at a party, and then he went to a fraternity house that wasn't his, and then he went into there, and I guess he got in a fight, and then he left, and then they found him dead in a swamp. And they're not really suspecting anything. So, anyways, I don't know. It just sounds too, let's just clean this up. Anytime you got a fraternity involved, there's some shenanigans that are going to happen. They're going to cover something up. Hey, thanks, Lisa Holland. Wouldn't know what to do without Gray and the Freak family. Oh, that's nice to say. Yeah. I always feel it's weird. If there's ever a night where I go, I'm just not going to do something, then I think, I don't know, man, that'd be weird. Not seeing everybody again. Yeah. That sounds much like the one from a couple weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, at the Michigan State campus there. And then there was something really weird that happened looking at it. So on the screen right here is the let me just show you this part, just because it's weird. Just one of those weird moments that is just kind of like, how's that even possible? So I was looking around, and it said between this high school over here and the campus, which is over here, and there's a swamp, and you can see there's a swamp. You know, it might be over in this area, it could over be, you know, but I had put a pin right here, thinking, okay, maybe, you know, the swamp or over there. That's where I put a pin. But look how weird this is, right? So then I did a search, you know, to try to verify what I was looking at. And then I got this map right here. And then can you guys see on the map right there, there's an X right in that same swamp. You see that? I mean, I don't know how, it's too small, but let me just show you from a distance here, watch. Okay, let me zoom out. So see this little curve of the road, and there's a swamp. And then I was looking at this curve in the road, and then a swamp, and there's an X right where I put the pin. Except that's not really an X on the map here. It's just an X to close down the image. I mean, I don't know why I think it's just crazy, but exactly where I put the pin, the X right there, was where there was an X just to minimize the image on the larger image. But for a minute I thought, oh wow, that's verifying where I think that his body was found. I mean, what do you think the odds of that are? That there's an image just randomly and there's an X placed exactly where my pin was placed, even though it was just the X for closing down the image. I mean, it is weird. Because see, you know, just again right there, let me just zoom in so you can see what I'm, right there. See, you got that little curve of the road, and then here's the swamp, and an X right in the middle. So I didn't even think twice about it. Then later, then I clicked on it, and then when it went into the article, and I noticed there wasn't an X there, so then I realized, wait a minute, that X was just there to close out that window. Anyways, it was just some kind of weird, no, it doesn't, it's not a boom moment, it's just a weird moment. There's nothing, the only reason I'm showing you is that it was weird that on this image right here, there's an X exactly where I put the pin, but the X there wasn't there for any reason other than to just go like this. You know, you get rid of it. Pretty crazy. I just thought it was a crazy coincidence. Wow, Stacy. You're always going above and beyond for us and the victims and their families. You're kind, generous, and truly care. Thank you for everything you do. I love being here with you and the wonderful Freak family. Everyone is so kind and generous. I love you all so much. Well, we all love you too, Stacy. Hope everything's going good in your with your daughter and everything. So, let's see. And you know, for those of you that are newer here, Stacy's been on here for a long time. We did a series called the well, it was on the Dyatlov Pass, and she wrote a book on it called Death of Nine, the Dyatlov Pass Mystery. It's on, you can get it on the Amazon, and it's always in the description of all my videos. So you can scroll down. There's a book of my brothers in there too. And that's not why she sent in a super chat. I'm just telling you anyways, because you can listen to a whole show where we were all interacting at the same time together. Alright, so this is the deal on the campus here. Hey, thank you, Alice Patak and Adniram. And thanks for joining the channel, Adniram. And upgrading to Oogla Boogla Freaks. Yeah, that was fun. And then she's also written the scripts for a few of the videos that I've done on my other channel called Nefarious. And then there's also scripts written that I haven't done yet because I just seem to never have the actual time. Because believe it or not, it takes a long time to make videos, right? When you're doing a live show, people understand you, and you're just switching out the screen, something like that. I mean, I wonder if there's I could use the scripts as sort of a... You know what I could do? I just thought it would be a better way to do it was, every time I'm doing the script, I'm trying to match up what's going on in the... like editing it out. But why don't I just read the script, then play the script, and then on the screen I just move things around the way I normally do it. Like, hey, take a look at this. Okay, yeah, up here's where, but I'm not talking. I'm just moving it around, and it matches what's being said. Oh, hey, boom, right there. That's so much easier. It's crazy. I just get my Google Earth out, and I just, I've already read the script. I just play it, and then I just kind of do it, and then I can even stop and go, okay, now I need to be over here, Oh, yeah. Boom. Oh, that's going to be awesome. I'm going to try one soon. Feel good about that. Okay, so this is a college student named Vincenzo Lirosi, and he's 22 years old. That's the same age as my brother was when he passed away on the U of O campus. Yeah, you think so, Stacy? Yeah. All right, Vincenzo and my brother died at the Theta Chi fraternity at the University of Oregon. Lirosi located by a New England Search Rescue. Okay, let's go down here. A 22-year-old student from the University of New Hampshire has been found dead in a wooded area 36 hours after going missing following a fight at a frat party, his friend said. The body of 22-year-old Vincenzo Lirosi was found close to campus in a marshy area. Cops say they do not believe his death to have been suspicious. Hey, Jen H, how's it going? Everybody else up there. Sarita. Perry Mom. Tam Robs. Tam Robs. I'm sure it's not said like that. So the body of 22-year-old Vincenzo Lirosi was found close to campus in a marshy area. Lirosi was known as Vinny to his friends, had disappeared following a night drinking at a fraternity party where he had been involved in a fight. It's pretty uncharacteristic of him. This is not that other case that we talked about a few weeks back. This is his first fight ever. No further details on the disagreement, including what prompted it and whether it got physical or shared. Thank you, Norm Scanlon. And this image here makes me think it's not where I had it pinned. I think it's maybe more on this side. If they're, we don't even know if they're filming in the right direction. We're just taking a guess. What the hell is he looking at? I don't even know what's going on there. But that's not, it's 2 years ago anyway. Yeah, so when you look at that shot there, it almost seems like if you were standing about right here, and that's just, and it zoomed in. Well, we could tell. Oh, I think I can tell right there. Hold on. Is that tree the one that we're looking at? I think it's maybe another little bit further. Ah, man. We won't be able to do it, but there's a tree that's bent right there, but I'm wondering if that's probably not the same one. I don't know. I don't know which side. Is it this side then? There's two different sides of the swamp, but I'm pretty sure that's where the swampy area is. This is in New Hampshire.
Yeah, Grace, Mike, Durham police just confirmed to us that the body of 22-year-old Vincenzo Vinny Lirosi was found in this marshy area behind us in between Oyster River High School and the University of New Hampshire's campus. Now, Lirosi was first reported missing around 3 a.m. Saturday morning by some of his friends who tell us he had left the bar they were drinking at and wandered his way into a fraternity party on campus. We're told that Lirosi was not a member of the fraternity and was eventually asked to leave that party. He was last seen headed down a wooded path that is frequently used by students as a shortcut around campus. And this was, again, around 1:30 Saturday morning. That was the last time he was seen. Now, today, authorities resumed their search for Lirosi utilizing state police helicopters, along with thermal cameras and search and rescue canines. We're told it was the team of canines that ultimately located his body in the marsh. Police say they notified Lirosi's family and friends of their findings just a short time ago.
They're obviously as devastated as one would expect. This certainly is not the outcome that we were all hoping for.
It's probably over here.
However, we were glad that we were able to locate him and to at least bring some closure to the family.
And at this point, Durham police say it does not appear that there was any foul play, but the body will undergo an autopsy later this week to determine the exact cause of death. We're live in Durham tonight. Scott Cook, WMUR News 9.
That's kind of an interesting shot there. So there was one little camera inside the swamp, and it was a somebody must have mounted a drone, a 360 camera on a drone or something, and maybe mounted it below it. Let's see. Hell, I don't even know how they did that. It's pretty crazy. But that's the beauty of 360-degree cameras. You can make YouTube videos, and it's just like this. You just pause the video, you can look around. And so I just purchased a new one. I had a 360 version 1, now this 360 version 2. I've got the name of the company all of a sudden. Insta 360 X2. And you can mount it on top of your drone. Pretty crazy. Yeah, so if you look right here when I hit the street view, I just happened to notice this little tiny blue dot that showed up, and it's right there. And then once you get into it, it gives you a 360 degree. The student was last seen walking along. What happened to that? There was words right there. It just disappeared. Oh, I think it was a dirt path. Yeah, walking along a wooden path. Huh. Often used by students at around 1 a.m. on Saturday. The route was well known. It was a well-known shortcut that he would take to reach his home. He was reported missing 2 hours later at around 3 a.m. We started to think how he would think, and we started walking through the woods on different trails. Blanchard exclaimed. We walked all the way to Jackson Landing to see if he was there, and we could not find anything. The body of Lirosi, who was from Whitman, Massachusetts, was found at around 1:20 on Sunday. Durham police used canine and thermal drone to search woods, while New Hampshire State Police and Fish and Game using helicopters to search for him. Yeah. So that's the mother right there. That's his brother. I mean, so these two people right here are just freaking out at this point. Horrible. On Sunday night, the university released a statement to students following the news. They're, CYA type of stuff. Okay, this is the university here. It is with very heavy heart that we write to share that the search for Vincenzo Lirosi did not end as we hoped. The university student was found in the wooded area off Co Drive, so now we can get that one. Hold on. I see Co Drive right there. Yeah. That's right where I have the pin. So does it make sense? The wooded area off of Co Drive. I guess we don't know what direction, but that's what this is. This afternoon, state and local authorities continue to investigate the cause of death, but at this time it's not believed to be suspicious. Our thoughts and prayers are with Vincenzo's family and friends. This is a very sad day for our community, and right now we are focused on providing the support and resources needed for everyone who knew him or is impacted by his death. We ask we ask all faculty and staff to be considerate of students impacted by the tragedy and offer accommodations for assignments and attendance. Please also refer students to UNH psychological counseling. Yeah, so, and then there was this other article that came out later today. And so now there's a little bit more, something going on here with the Sigma Chi suspended at UNH. What we know as Vinny Lirosi's death is investigated. Yeah, I think you definitely need to investigate it. So here's where Sigma Chi is. So he probably, went like this down. Well, I don't know what where he lives, so I'm not able to determine where he was headed, why he was going that direction. So this is probably maybe what was Greek Row at one time, and that's Sigma Chi right there. Let's see. Who asked a question? I don't even see that person. Who is support with Steffa? I don't see it. Oh. Someone may consider this a stupid. Does Gray pay for a special version of Google Maps? No, I don't pay for a special version. I used to. All right. That guy right here. The University of New Hampshire has suspended the Sigma Chi fraternity indefinitely amid an investigation into whether a student found dead in a marshy area Sunday was involved in an altercation at an event fraternity members hosted the night he went missing. The body of 22-year-old Vincenzo Vinny Lirosi was located by a search and rescue team off Co Drive in Durham Sunday afternoon. At about 36 hours after police say he was last seen alive, and I'm sure it was really cold at night. He was reported missing early Saturday. UNH spokesperson Erica Mans said Lirosi was a sophomore in the midst of a second semester at the school since transferring. A history major, Mans said Lirosi was a valuable and engaged member of that department. I wonder if that, if you can see that little board thing sitting there. Hold on. Actually, maybe, is there something over here? Let me just take a look. That's not Co Drive, though. No, he wasn't hazed because it wasn't his fraternity. Oh, there it is. That's what that little wooden thing you could see just now. It's right there. See that? I think that's the top maybe of a culvert And I think that's what that is right there. That makes sense. Yeah. I think that's it. Looks almost identical. Yeah, it's so crazy, some of the stuff on Google Earth that you can see. You know, like you could actually compare these bolts if you needed to really find something. See these bolts right there? You know, you could actually determine exactly, except they blurred this part out for some reason. You know, so where it would be right in this area, and you can't see them, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, yeah, let me get back to the article. So that they're filming that way, so maybe they're saying wooded area over here. This looks more like a wooded area. This seems to be kind of populated with some woods around it. Class continued on a somber campus Monday where UNH was set to offer student grief processing. What we know about the investigation into his death, Michael Blackman, the university dean of students, sent a message to students Monday afternoon stating that Sigma Chi fraternity was suspended during the investigation. Yeah, well, they should, because what happens is fraternities, they'll call a chapter meeting and they'll come down and make sure everybody's story's straight to make them appear in the best light possible. It sucks. And they do that. So if they try to, we don't do that, no, you do, okay? I also want to acknowledge reports that prior to going missing, Vinny was involved in an altercation at a gathering hosted by the members of Sigma Chi fraternity. As is common practice, when an investigation involves a fraternity, we were in touch with the organization's national headquarters, and collectively agreed to interim suspend the organization effective immediately. This decision is not the result of an investigation or a formal finding. They probably just wanted to minimize their being able to. I mean, but it's so easy to get. How everyone has a cell number. You call them up. Everyone gets together somewhere. Durham Police Chief Renee Kelly said the party Lirosi attended Friday night was not at the fraternity house. Some of the brothers of the fraternity rent apartments at a complex on Main Street. I don't know how many, but they rent. Okay, so it wasn't at the fraternity, and that was on Main Street. Regarding reports about an altercation, Kelly declined to comment on it. We are investigating, but there's no finality to our investigation. Kelly said an autopsy for Lirosi was completed by the state medical examiner Monday, though the cause and manner of death won't be determined until toxicology test results are complete. That's just, it seems kind of just weird that he was walking home and then he just dies. You know, it almost seems like it might be a result of something that happened in the fight, right? Anyways. Well, that's where we're at here. Let's just wait for the autopsy on it. It's just sort of hard to think, okay, he leaves at 1:30 and he's walking home and then he just sort of dies. And he's in the... It feels like something that happened to him in the fight impaired him in some way, and then he sort of wandered somewhere and then he died. That's what it feels like. I mean, people just don't wander off into a marsh, you know? Yeah, crazy. Oh, and then, by the way, the other case that was similar, it was the Brendan Santo case. This is from December 2nd here. That
In
was
East Lansing today, a dive team searched the Red Cedar River for missing GVSU student Brendan Santo. The 18-year-old was last seen on October 29th.
They actually kind of look
Lansing.
sort of similar,
Investigators
oddly,
are trying to rule
other
out
than
the
the curly hair.
possibility that he fell into the river. 13 on your sides. Justin Bachman is live in East Lansing tonight. And Justin, it's not an easy river to search, is it?
No.
Juliet, if you were to ask the people that are here searching it today, they would call that an
Yard.
understatement. It has been their main challenge in the search for Brendan Santo, and that's why they spent all day trying to clear debris from it. There have been a lot of people here working on the Red Cedar. 35 divers from 4 different counties have been combing the river since 8 this morning. So far, they've found nothing in the month the investigation has been going on, but with the debris they've cleared, they say they can go farther up the river with boats and technology than they were able to before. In addition to the divers from 4 counties, 50 FBI personnel helped out with a ground search away from the river, looking for any sign of Brendan, like his belongings or the black Red Wings hat that he has or his iPhone. They chose today for the escalated search for a few reasons.
The weather actually worked out in our favor today. The weather has been a consideration. The river is actually at a lower point right now than it was when Brendan went missing, so we're taking advantage of not...
Earlier today, I spoke with Dawn Brewer, Brendan's aunt. She says that the family is remaining hopeful, but it's difficult that they can't be here to aid in the search.
Hey, there's Kate Borgie. What are we going to fight about tonight?
On your side.
All right. Let me see. His name was Santo.
Breaking overnight, some schools across Michigan are closed this morning in an abundance of caution after receiving threats following the deadly school shooting in Oxford.
That includes a few schools right here in West Michigan. 13 on your sides.
Yeah, you guys remember this is the one on the campus. This is where he went to college. And then he was on the Michigan State campus over here, I believe. And remember he was over at visiting a girl, I guess, over here, and then he left and his phone was pinged on this road here. But as you can see, there's this canal or creek or whatever you want to call it that goes it winds its way through town, and he was trying to get back over here. So there's multiple times where he'd have to cross over it to get to the Brody area here. But his friend lived in Emmons Hall. He had a key of his friend in his pocket. I mean, it's really some weird stuff in there too. But I think it's going to be that maybe around in this area would be where you would find him. I mean, I know it's not right next to where he disappeared, but if you look at the layout of the water, how it's nice and smooth here, but then right here, that'd be hard for a body to navigate through floating if he is in the water, you know. Then there's that part, and then I think after that there's this long straightaway where he could easily go. And then I would check maybe in this area, because again, it's hard and there's snags in the water. Then after that, I don't see almost any way that after getting to this space here, that his body would be able to get through this jumble of this, really kind of a maze of creeks right here. Or not creeks, but the same creek, but it's just water all over the place. And then after that, man, he could, you start getting into this river, you're gone. So I just don't think he could have made it all the way out. I think he's probably in one of those 3 locations that we discussed. So that's what they're doing. They're still looking for him. It's pretty amazing. I think it's amazing that they haven't found him yet. Because if he did drown in the water, he would have had gases that would have made him float to the top, unless he went under and got stuck underneath a log in such a way that even after the gases of decomposition bloated his body, it wasn't able to rise to the surface. But that'd be pretty difficult for that. Yeah, well, that's the thing. We don't even know if he's there, I think after they check out this whole river and they don't find him, and they find no sign of him at all. I mean, where's the hat, for God's sakes? The one that they were just talking about. So if they don't find any of that, they're going to have to start over again and do it as a whole different scenario. But it sounds like they're I mean, how come there's no video of anything? It's just unbelievable. Yeah, we already talked about that, Rita. You know, maybe he was stuck on something, but that doesn't happen too often, where you couldn't float back up to the surface. I mean, maybe the same reason that he got stuck is what's keeping him, if he did go under the water and he got stuck, maybe that's what is still holding his body under the water, but I don't know. They might have to wait till summertime when the water goes way down and then get people to walk that creek in the water. Because it's, well, they call it a river, but does anybody consider this a river? I mean, give me a break. I don't think in any parts of the country people call something that looks like this a river. Look at that thing. I mean, that's barely even, you know, what month is this? This is September, so look how low it is right there. I mean, that's definitely not a river. I mean, they call it a river, so I guess it is a river, but it's not really a river. I mean, really. You know, let's take a look at it again. Yeah, right here off this little... Like, he could have went... Here's what I think is a possibility. Because it was rivalry weekend. I think he was on the other team. A lot of people are fighting because it's Michigan versus Michigan State. They show up, these rowdy people, they're drinking. He's walking home, and then somebody like punched him in the face or something and shoved him off this little bridge right here. And he went in the water and he drowned, something like that. I mean, that sort of makes sense to me. But some of this, let me see if this one has where you can cross. There it is. This one, you know, could you picture him just walking here? That's not a very high side rail there. And then somebody being a jackass. Look at that. That's not even, what month is this? This is September. Look how shallow that water is. So definitely in the summertime, which is a long time from now, they're going to have to do it again and just walk all the way down. And they're going to go downstream. And I think we determined that the river flows this direction. That's why I'm saying that he'll either be in this spot. Look at this. Imagine a body making it all the way through to here in this just jumble of trees. And this is from, what time of year is this image here? I guess we don't have that. Let me find something similar. Well, that was this March, July. See, that's October. That's close, right? And look at that. You think it would be easy for a body to drift down in here? It would just kind of go. It would be a miracle for a body to be able to drift through that and make it to this section from here. Okay, so this would be the last sort of stop before, because if it gets through here, then you're going out to the river, and then, I mean, he could be miles and miles. You remember that one case I bring up that we talked about earlier this year where that girl drove onto the bridge, jumped out of her car really quick, and jumped into the water? And they found her body 80 miles away in less than a week. I mean, it was just days later. It was just... I've never even heard of that. That's incredible. That means she was not even slowed down one time the entire time. Just kept going downstream. Hey, thanks, Eugenie. All right, now we're going to switch over to... remember the Emma Sweet case? Right there. That little girl that was killed. I think murdered, actually, is what I think. So this is, remember, her body was found. Her dad, who's a meth, has been busted for meth in the past. The car's in the water, and he made all these wild claims, but this article here has more information on what the dad says happened. The last person to see 2-year-old Emma Sweet said the toddler appeared normal before leaving in her dad's pickup, according to court documents. Not even an hour later, the day took a tragic turn when the truck rolled down an embankment. So they're saying the truck rolled down an embankment into a Bartholomew County river. So how did it... Okay. Duck hunters later found her father, Jeremy Sweet, inside the submerged truck. Medics found a syringe, records state. There was no sign of Emma Sweet. An army of search crews from 14 law enforcement and state agencies a day later found her body downstream. Jeremy Sweet has been formally charged with neglect of a dependent resulting in death and unlawful possession of a syringe. Never heard of that one, but see, that was the vehicle right there, actually, while it was in the water. What happened to Emma Sweet? Sheriff Myers said the father gave 2 conflicting stories about what happened. Court records show his vague recount to police about what led up to her death and what Bartholomew County investigators determined in the case. Jeremy Sweet picked up his daughter from their home. So this is what he's saying. He picked her up from her home on November 24th while his wife went to work. He dropped off his friend at work at 3:30 with Emma in the car. His friend told investigators that Emma was fine when they left. So this part did happen. That was the last time Emma was seen alive. Jeremy Sweet told investigators that 45 minutes after dropping off his friend, so that would be 4:15, he took a wrong turn and drove into some fields. He's lived there forever. There's no way he took a wrong turn. He drove on top of an embankment to see the river, he said. When his truck became stuck, he rocked the pickup back and forth when it tipped into the water, he said. Water began to fill the truck, Jeremy Sweet said. So he took Emma to sit on the roof of the truck. So I guess they both sat on the roof together? At one point, he told police the 2 fell into the water. He took off her coat. I mean, look how... Something doesn't add up here. How far is it to get from here to there? I mean, does the guy not know how to swim? Or, what's going on there? Water began to fill the truck, Jeremy said. So he took Emma to sit on the roof of the truck. At one point, he told police the 2 fell into the water. He took off her coat. Okay. They remained on top of the truck overnight. So they both spent the night on top of the truck. I don't know. This just sounds ridiculous. But it almost sounds so stupid that is it true? It's just, God. They remained on top of the truck overnight on November 25th, he told police. He said he last saw Emma. So they just sat out there all night. Nobody was yelling for anything. Nothing. They just were gazing at the stars. He said he saw Emma on top of the truck. So let's see. They ran on top of the truck overnight on November 25th. He said he saw Emma on top of the truck yelling at her mom. Well, I know, because you're both still on top of the truck, right? How could you... why do you have to say, oh, I saw her on top of the truck, if you're both sitting on top of the truck? He held her for a while, records state, then sat her on top of the roof again. Well, where were you then? I thought you were both on top of the truck. He woke up the next morning and Emma was gone. Okay, because that's, you know what you do, everybody? This is what I do, is I go, hey, if you were in the water with your, 2 or 3 year old kid, and, you're in this crazy situation, what you do is you put them on top of the roof and you just yell out late at night, you go, are you all good up there, Emma? Okay, I'm going to go hit the sack, all right? And then you wake up, oh, hey, what? Hey, Emma, you still up there? I mean, there isn't a soul out there that does that. How do you go take a nap or fall asleep, for God's sake? Yeah, listen. They remained on top of the truck overnight on November 25th, he told police. He said he last saw Emma on top of the truck yelling for her mom. He held her for a while, records state, then sat her on top of the roof again. He woke up the next morning and Emma was gone. He held her for a while, records state, then he put her back up on top of the roof, and then he says when he woke up the next morning. Who the hell goes to sleep in a situation like this? Four duck hunters found Jeremy Sweet inside the submerged truck on November 26th and called 911. When deputies arrived and asked Jeremy Sweet about his daughter's whereabouts, he replied that he had dropped her off. Bartholomew County paramedic found a syringe and empty baggie with a corner cut. Investigators said Jeremy Sweet later told them he used methamphetamine and marijuana the night before the crash. Oh boy. The medics took Jeremy Sweet to Columbus Regional Hospital for hypothermia. Police placed him on a 72-hour hold while they investigated. Preliminary findings from Emma Sweet's autopsy were inconclusive about whether her cause of death was hypothermia or drowning. Yeah, well, I mean, who cares which one it is? It's the same. In this case, it's the same thing. You know, in terms of he caused it. She had no blunt force trauma injuries on her body. Well, you might want to check for a little needle mark somewhere. The Bartholomew County Coroner's Office said final results of the autopsy will return in 4 to 6 weeks. Sweet is being held in the Bartholomew County Jail at a $1.2 million bond. I don't know. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You put her on top of the roof. So you're both on the roof, and then you go back in the car, and then you put her on the roof, and then you go to sleep. What a dipshit. I mean, give me a break, everybody. Wow. Oh, yeah. And in this case, this is one that we talked about. Hold on a second. This one, Latish Norris, the one that was from Indiana and then went down to like San Francisco or San Diego. I mean, like she was found totally fine. Yeah, 20-year-old Indiana woman, Latish Norris, who was last seen in San Diego November 4th, has been found safe. The San Diego Police Department confirmed Saturday. San Diego Police Department investigators met with Norris in person and confirmed she is safe. Detectives also verified Norris was not and is not the victim of any crime, according to San Diego Police Department. What a loser, you know? Like, you couldn't call your mom and let her know that everything was okay after you made her freak out? Yeah. You call her up and say, oh, we got to fight, and then you're gone for 3 weeks. I think it's great that she's out there, but what a absolute idiot of a person, okay? All right, so that's all I'm going to talk. I don't want to give her any seconds of more talk. What a joke. Oh, yeah. Yeah, do you guys remember this case from, I think it was back maybe 3 or 4 months ago? Mother of missing woman Rebecca Barsati pleads for help as 2 months anniversary of the daughter's disappearance approaches. That was the other article. Let me just get through this one here. I'm just going through these ones quick. These are updates. Let's see. Just want to play. Yeah, let's just play this one.
woman and conflicting theories about what may have happened to her. 33-year-old Rebecca Barsotti was last seen.
Yeah, let me go to this one. I have it in here. How do you spell that? B-A-R-S. There. And you guys remember this? It was where she was with her dog at a rest stop. You know, the parts of the story that are a little dicey is that, you know, she was just leaving her boyfriend, I guess, and you know, he had just given her all of her stuff at a gas station through a third party. And after she picked up the stuff, she's driving, and then she stops at a rest area here, and then miraculously, yeah, it's right here. The dog and her apparently went in the water. They did find the dog 10 miles downstream later, dead. You know, the dog didn't make it. And so they think maybe she jumped in, and there was nothing nefarious regarding the dog. So let's just play this.
In Superior
over.
Series here on News Nation Prime tonight with a desperate search for a missing woman and conflicting theories about what may have happened to her. 33-year-old Rebecca Barsotti was last seen in Superior, Montana in July. Her parents say she was out hiking with her dog and she was never heard from again. Investigators believe she could have drowned in a river, but her parents say they think something else may have happened. News Nation correspondent Kelly Beeson has more on this complicated story for us tonight.
Well, Marnie, Rebecca Barsotti loves the outdoors. Her mother says she lit up every room she walked into. But for the past 5 months, no one has been able to find her. And her mother believes those searching may be doing so in the wrong places.
I don't think she's in the water. I think they're looking in the wrong place.
Nestled between towering mountain ranges, the vast landscape surrounding Missoula, Montana are an attraction for adventurous and many who love the outdoors. It was a scene that an 18-year-old Rebecca Barsotti sought to call home.
One day she came home from work and said, "The world is too small to stay in Partlow, Virginia," which is where she was raised.
She found work at an upscale restaurant and would also find love, marrying her husband David in September of 2015.
Their marriage has always been a challenge. Rebecca would call and say, "I've been kicked out of the house." This would be at 10 o'clock at night. So I asked her, I said, "Do you want to come home? Do you want me out there to help you?" No, Rebecca is independent. And so I had to respect that.
I got the link in the description.
I mean, she's 33. I had to respect that.
The pair separated in April of 2021. Months later, on July 20th, an arrangement was made between David and Rebecca to have the rest of her personal items dropped off at a nearby gas station. David's caretaker made the exchange, and Rebecca left the scene, making a stop at a scenic outlook where she and her dog, Cerberus, would get out of the car and head down to the Clark Fork River. Rebecca would never be seen from or heard from again.
It's swift moving, deep at places, and there's a bunch of swirling eddies that suck you under the water. It's a very dangerous. Like me standing there, I was like, I'd never go in that water.
Police were called to the scene when Rebecca's driver's license, credit card, cell phone, along with other items, were found on the riverbanks unattended. Her phone capturing video of what appears to be a training session.
I think she went in to save her dog, and I think she put her cell phone, her credit cards, and keys on the bank to not get them wet. Probably just quickly put them out of her pocket, and then went in the water, and she didn't get out either.
Between dog and owner, the last known.
And the reason I'm saying that, let me show you the. Look at the rest area here. Believe it or not, Google Earth went in there about a month before she went missing, and they're right here. And look at that water there. I mean, you get in that, you're gonna really have problems. Look at that thing. right in that area. Just rapids, very quick moving, just like the officer said. Yeah.
Video of Rebecca before her disappearance. The discovery sparking area searches that days later uncovered Cerberus's body about 10 miles upstream. Police say there was no indication of harm to the animal, no signs of a struggle. Cerberus's body about 10 miles upstream.
Yeah, well, it wasn't upstream. Right when she said, I go, upstream, what are you talking about? And it's downstream, obviously, right? So her body was found downstream from there.
Police say there was no indication of harm to the animal, no signs of a...
I mean, it is pretty, you know, the timing of her picking up her last belongings is a little suspicious, you know, but I don't know. It just seems like there's no foul play with the dog, so...
Struggle on the river's edge and no trace of Rebecca.
If she had seen him drowning, she most likely would have jumped in after.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the guy was there and he threw the dog in there. You know, the ex-husband went there, put the dog in the water, and then she goes, I'm gonna go, and then went in to save the dog, and something happened to her, and then he took off. But that just doesn't. That sounds really far-fetched, you know.
Him. That's how much she loved him.
Well, I believe that she's in the river, and I think she drowned, probably.
I believe that Rebecca is intelligent enough, and she would have not put her dog in that position of danger.
Nothing leads us otherwise. I'm not locked into that. I mean, show me some evidence otherwise. But right now, that's what we have.
The sheriff's department says that she took the time to take her glasses off, and she took the time to take her baseball cap off. I'm saying if it's an emergency, seconds count.
Rebecca's mother, Angela, moved to Missoula in July, immediately after her daughter went missing. She and her husband continue to tirelessly organize search parties, contact law enforcement, and distribute reward information for Rebecca's safe return.
We think the entire thing was staged.
As I said, at the gas station, it was a third party, so obviously they've determined that it wasn't her and the ex.
Where they say glasses off, and she took the time to take her baseball cap off. Yeah. I'm saying if it's an emergency, seconds count.
Rebecca's mother, Angela, moved to Missoula in July, immediately after her daughter went missing. She and her husband continue to tirelessly organize search parties, contact law enforcement, and distribute reward information for Rebecca's safe return.
We think the entire thing was staged. Where they say she threw these things off, I say maybe there was a struggle and they got knocked off.
Angela.
Thanks, Cairo. Yes, everybody, and you too. If you'd like to help out the channel, feel free to do so, as we are actually making a difference on this channel, unlike a lot of other channels who people send super chats to and it goes into a black hole. Over here, it actually does go to help support me to keep doing my shows, but about 50% of the net income from YouTube goes to charities, and thus the $41,000 so far this year. It's been pretty amazing, so if you guys would like to help out, that'd be great. And yes, I'll take that as, pretend that's 100, Cairo.
Says because the search has centered around a water rescue, key time was lost to investigate other places and theories.
So she thinks
they haven't found Rebecca. They haven't found Rebecca where they thought they would find her.
But police say they've run down every lead and ruled out her estranged husband as a suspect in the case.
I don't know by who. I don't know if it's circumstance or coincidence that Rebecca went missing on the 20th, but in my heart of hearts, I believe there was foul play.
Until reliable information comes forward, there's not much more we can do at this time.
And so much time has passed, and they've asked me, where do you want us to look? Look around. all these mountains, all these forests. Where do you want us to look? And it's almost 4 months later.
After thousands of search hours put in by civilians and law enforcement, Angela continues to reach out to nonprofits and others for help.
There's days I fall apart, and then there's days that I pull up my bootstraps and I say, I have to get through this day. I have a lot to do.
Hoping to access additional sonar and drone equipment to assist with the effort, she says she will never stop searching for her daughter.
She's a very giving person and has a very large heart. And even through all this process, people talk about we're drawn to your daughter and we don't even know her.
We are telling this story to get the word out. With the weather changing, searches on the water won't be possible. Angela's asking those in the area to be on the lookout for any sign of her daughter.
Yeah. Let me look at the way this river looks from the air. Yeah, it looks like that water is way higher than in October than in August. So, yeah, going down here. Yeah, it's just, you would just keep on going, it looks like. Downstream. Not a lot of areas. Maybe right around in here you could get snagged up, something like that. But if it's high, you're just going to zip downstream. You could be miles and miles away. So, anyway, I think that one is that she went in to save her dog and something happened. She drowned herself. That's what I think. Oh, and also thank you the other day it was yesterday actually, there was my PayPal donations on here, so let me, I wanted to, before I forgot, say thanks to this account, Charleston Amy and Angela Vincent. And then also Carol, 2 different ones from Carol, so thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right. Didn't want to forget those. That was yesterday. Yeah, sounds like that makes sense, right? Trying to figure out which one to do next. I think what I'll do next is the update from the story we did yesterday, the Serial Killer Sunday, or as Zozo calls it, is Skunday. Maybe I should start putting that in the title. Skunday. What's Skunday? Serial Killer Sunday. What do you mean Delphi? What? Hello? Man, people are so, like, myopic. No, it'd be SK. K Borgie. Don't you get it? Yeah. Huh? Who? Where? Who's talking about Delphi? Who's talking about Delphi right now? I don't get it. Did I mention Delphi? Oh, really? Okay, let me check. Really? Hold on. Now you're kidding me. Okay. It says right here, this is a huge update on the Delphi murders in Indiana from 2017. First big chunk of evidence police have released in a long time. Oh, I know what you were saying.
My name is Sergeant Jeremy Piers, the Public Information Officer with the Indiana State Police out of the Lafayette Post. While investigating the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, detectives with the Carroll County Sheriff's Office and the Indiana State Police have uncovered an online profile named Anthony Schatz. This profile was being used from 2016 to 2017 on social media applications, including but not limited to Snapchat and Instagram. The fictitious Anthony Schatz profile used images of a known male model and portrayed himself as being extremely wealthy and owning numerous sports cars. The creator of the fictitious profile used this information while communicating with juvenile females to solicit nude images, obtain their address, and attempt to meet with them. Pictured on your screen, you'll see images of the known male model and images of the fictitious profile sent to the underage females. We have already identified the male in these images that were used by Anthony Schatz. The male in the photo is not the person of interest in the investigation. Detectives are seeking information about the person who created the Anthony Schatz profile. Investigators would like any individual who communicated, met, or attempted to meet the Anthony Schatz profile to contact law enforcement by utilizing the tip email, Abby and Libby Tip at cacoshrf.com. Please provide as much information as you possibly can. For example, when you communicated with Anthony Schatz, how you communicated with the profile, what social media applications the account used, and if Anthony Schatz attempted to meet you or obtain your address. If you have saved images or conversations with Anthony Schatz profile, please attach them to your email. Again, if you have any information, please contact law enforcement by utilizing the tip email, Abby and Libby Tip at cacoshrf.com. Thank you.
Wow, that makes you wonder if they actually have indication that that profile communicated with Abby and Libby prior, because there's really would be no other reason, you would think. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Almost. Well, thanks you for interrupting for that. That was pretty crazy right there. So I guess now I won't be switching over to. I thought you guys were just going Delphi case again, Delphi, over and over again. We get that every night, no matter what night it is. It's, hey Gray, any updates on Delphi? Let's see. Let me see if I got anything else. Maybe we should switch. Maybe I should just end that stream and start another one. What do you guys think? I'll be back on in just a couple minutes. And then we can just do a Delphi show now. This is like, I think we need to go over this and try to find something. All right? Okay. All right, so anyways, I'm going to stop this show. I'll be back on in just a couple minutes, all right? All right, see you. And thank you very much for the super chats and everything. And I can do it really quick. Thanks to Lisa Holland, Stacy, Alice Patak, Adniram, Kathy Friedenmaker, Norm Scanlon, Mandy Williamson, Eugenie, and Kyra. Thank you. All right.